Now, yesterday's video got a little bit of a backlash, and I found that a little bit unfortunate because it was a message that I didn't expect to get a backlash. You see, very rarely do I try to moralize to you guys because I understand that you're subscribers. You're not my children. Like, you don't have any reason to listen to me. And so, like, I try to stay away from morality. But I did make an observation which maybe came off as moralizing. But I still believe in it. And I want to give it another go. Will I still get roasted in the comment sections? I don't know. But basically, what I was saying is that we had the TikTok ban yesterday. And it didn't last long. It was a couple of hours. But during those hours, a lot of people showed their hand. A lot of people showed their deck. And everyone was like, good. The Zoomers deserve it. You know, it's a good thing that it happened. And I was saying, it's like, the main problem that culture has in 2025 is that people have no compassion or empathy for each other. And I wasn't talking about the TikTok ban. I was talking in general. Like we, as the left likes to say it, human beings. We don't have compassion for each other. And that's incredibly concerning. Because if you don't have compassion for someone else that's suffering, why would someone else have compassion for you when you're suffering? The reality is, like, most of us are individuals. And all individuals have different hobbies, different aspirations, different things that we care about. And some of the things that we care about, for other people, they seem like trivial shit. While other people's stuff that they care about seems like trivial shit for us. One of the reasons that I realized this is when my grandma found out that my cat died. And, you know, God rest her soul, but my grandma was born in a rural area. And it happened during communism, so she had a very difficult life. And so, for her, the concept of a pet didn't really exist. Like, for her, a pet is like you have a cat in order to eat the rodents around the house. Like, it serves a purpose. It's not there to give companionship. It's not there for you to pet it. It's not there for you to care about. It's kind of like an item that fulfills a purpose around the household. And this is the mentality that a lot of people from her generation had. Like, they just don't understand, like, what do you mean you brought the animal indoors? Like, what do you mean you have the cat in your house? Like, what, it sleeps in your bed? Like, no. Because, like, the concept is that the animal is dirty, right? So the idea is, like, the values are incredibly different between my generation and hers. Like, for us, the cat is a pet, it's a companion, it's someone you care about. And so when my cat passed away from cancer, my grandma was like, oh, well, that's fine, you'll get another. And you know, like, she wasn't trying to be mean or anything. But really, like, her mentality was, it's just a cat, you'll get over it. And God help me, if it wasn't my grandma, if it was anyone else, that would have been the end of the relationship with that person. Like, I would have harbored a level of resentment and spite towards them that would be unreal, and I would do everything I can in order to upset that person if I get an opportunity in the future. But because I knew it's my grandma and I knew that she didn't mean it, and I also knew that the reason she does it is because, like, the moral system is so different. You know, that did save the relationship. But I gotta say, you know, like, I was legitimately suffering at the time because I really cared about that cat. And it also, like, the way it passed away was horrible because the veterinarian just gave the cat to me in a bag and was like, well, why can't you burn it? Like, we don't have an incinerator here. Just throw it in a trash can. You know, like, I was, like, really emotionally affected by this whole thing. And if my grandma knew that I would get upset, again, like, she'd be like, it's just a cat. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, she wouldn't have any empathy for this situation. And again, you know, like, this is just one story. Like, don't focus on it. But, like, the idea is that all of us, every one of us, we got certain things that we care about a lot that other people find trivial. And we need to understand that there are other things that other people care about that we find trivial. And if you don't have compassion for other people, you cannot possibly expect that other people will have compassion for you. And so this brings us to Judge Clarence Thomas. It's really wild, right? Like, why would I start the video like this and then talk about Judge Clarence Thomas? Like, what does one have to do with another? Now, Judge Clarence Thomas is a person that's absolutely beloved by right-wingers, and it's absolutely despised by the Democrats. And it shouldn't really make sense, because the Democrats are all about black people and empowering black people. And here you have a black person in one of the highest positions in the United States of America, and Democrats absolutely despise him. So he is a judge on the Supreme Court, and a lot of his rulings are conservative in nature. And this is why the left calls him a traitor. This is why the left really dislikes him. They call him all sorts of racist epithets. And the question is, like, how do you get a guy like Clarence Thomas? Like what exactly shaped his personality? And you have a story that's very interesting. So, in his youth, Thomas was actually an extremist. Not for the right, but for black nationalism. Apparently, he was a devotee of Malcolm X. Now, for those of you who are from America and you don't know who Malcolm X is, like, let me just say that his takes were so extreme that the media usually tried to give him blackout. Like, the media would only focus on Martin Luther King because they were legitimately afraid of some of the stuff that Malcolm X was saying, which were segregationist in nature. It's like encouraging black people to only shop from black businesses and ignore white businesses, and, you know, a lot of other stuff. I don't think he shied away from violence in some situations. And he also said things that were against the liberals as well. He would say that a liberal is like a fox, and that's more dangerous than the wolf, because you know what the wolf is. You can protect yourself against the wolf, but the fox, it comes towards you smiling, and when it gets close, then it shows its teeth. And you can see why the liberals hated it. But, like, regardless, Mr. Justice Thomas was a big fan of Malcolm X, right? And so, like, how do you get from that? How do you get into one of the most conservative judges on the United States? And apparently there's a story that I checked that it's actually real. But this happens when Judge Clarence Thomas was at Yale University. And again, like, he had this black supremacist sentiment, very distrustful of other people. And what changed his life is a day where he lost his wallet. So he lost his wallet, and to his shock and to his dismay, a colleague of him by the name of John Bolton brings him the wallet. And this act of kindness absolutely shattered his worldview. He couldn't believe that a rich white guy like Bolton cared enough to bring back his wallet. Because you gotta understand, it wasn't about the money. It's the gesture. And it was also the person that brought the wallet. It was a person on the right. And obviously, Judge Thomas didn't immediately change his ideology. But John Bolton became his ideological sparring partner, and they formed a friendship. And that set the man on a journey of discovery, and then became a conservative. And so I'm thinking, like, if this were to be happening today, like, how many people would have returned the wallet from our side? Like, if you have, like, an extremist Antifa person. Now, I'm not saying that people would pocket the wallet. But, like, you would pick it up, you'd see who it is, and you'd put the wallet back down. It's like, let someone else find it. And my point is, it's like these tiny acts of compassion that doesn't cost you anything. They can change the world sometimes. They can change the minds of people, because it's one thing when you get compassion from a person you're expecting. It's another thing when you're getting compassion from a person that's literally on the opposite end of the scale. And so, like, the interesting thing is that in the previous video that I talked about compassion, one of the most predominant comments that I got was, well, they wouldn't help us. And I think like that's the problem, right? They wouldn't help you. And why? Well, because you're the other. And the reason they would help you is because they also know that you wouldn't help them. And you wouldn't, because you're admitting it. So my question is, like, for how long does this must go on? Like how long until the situation will finally change? Because, like, this isn't stable, right? Like, are you guys seeing this 100 years from the future? Like, is this a future that you'd like? What about, like, 200 years in the future? Like, will it stop at some point? Will we get to see each other, as the left likes to say, like, human beings? You don't have to see yourself as human beings, but you at least have to see yourself as citizens. And there are small acts that require absolutely nothing. You know, when a person cries that they lost their TikTok or whatever, you can just say, you know, I'm sorry for you. You know, I'm sorry you feel that way. I understand it's hard. Or whatever the fuck, you know, just say a couple of words of compassion. Even if you hate TikTok as the platform, right? Do you actually hate that particular person? Like, do you know anything about them? And at the end of the day, you know, like, okay, they got banned. Let's say they're a radical leftist that constantly makes propaganda against you. Whatever. And he gets banned from TikTok. Well, he's just going to go on another platform, right? And he's probably going to hate you more because you justified his worldview. Like, his worldview is like, these people want what's bad for me. From my point of view, this is my career. This is how I pay for my family. This is how I pay for my household. I lost my job. And these people are cheating. Fuck these people. Everything I believe about these people is justified, right? Like, literally, that's the mindset. And if you actually show compassion and kindness, you mind fuck them. And chances are that one day, you know, you may have some compassion shown your way. But again, like, this is just my take. I don't try to force my moral values on other people, but this is how I go through life. And by the way, I don't expect the kindness to return. I don't believe in karma. I don't believe in any of this. You know, like, even if I help 10 people and none of them will show compassion back to me, I do it not because I'm a religious person. I don't even believe I'll go to heaven. Like, I don't believe in heaven or hell. I don't believe in karma. I don't believe in anything. I just do it because, you know, if it ever happens to me, I hope there's someone out there like me. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.